Okay, picking up where we left off, we're on page 433. We're talking about how to protect an individual worksheet. So I could do that here, protect the current worksheet. There's actually an easier way, and that's just to go to the sheet itself, whatever sheet that I'm on. And then under Format, I know this is a little weird. Actually, this is the weird part. Protecting the worksheet appears in multiple locations. It appears here under Format, when you go down here, Protect. But also, you can go to Review and do Protect. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Lots of places where you can do this. So I don't really remember what the book does, but that's beside the point. So when I go in here and I tell it I want to turn on or off protection for a particular cell, there's this thing called Lock Cell. Now, let me just hit the button here to unlock and do something. Okay, I want to start by unlocking everything. Okay, so now everything is unlocked. Okay, when I do that, now I have unlocked everything, and now I want to go back in and lock those things that I don't want them to mess with. For example, I don't want them to mess with anything in this column. Okay, they can't mess with that. They can't mess with like the sales tax. Lots of things like that. Now I'll go here and say lock. Now, have I actually locked anything? Not yet. I haven't. Because what happens here is you have to actually protect it. In fact, if you hover over this, it's going to tell you. It'll say, hello, come on, behave. It says you must turn on Protect Sheet in order for this feature to work. Okay. And then it's basically going to say, protect this worksheet the way you've got it set up. And I go, yep. And I'm not going to go through all this is a list of things that you are allowed to do. And it's a very short list, as you can tell. So if you're coming across a locked spreadsheet, what can you do? Well, I can select cells. That's about it. I can't do anything else. I can select them. Can't edit them. Can't delete. Can't do anything else. I'm going to hit the button. Okay, cool. So now I go in here and, can I, go in here and change my hours to 2? Well, yes, I can. Can I go over here and change this to something else? To, I don't know. Oop, no, I can't. So I've locked that portion of that page. Now, I will tell you this is a little tricky because there's two different philosophies at bay here. And one is, before you lock the page, okay, before you turn on the page protection, you either A, must lock everything and then go back and unlock the things you don't want. That's one way. Or unlock everything and then go in and lock the things that you do want locked. Either way, you have to go through it twice. You have to go through and say, select everything and turn lock on, and then go back and selectively unlock something. That's one way. Or the reverse, where you say, screw it, I want to give them everything, and I'll just tell them what it is I don't want. And then when you've got the combination of locked and unlocked perfect, then you say, I want to protect the worksheet, and you're good. Now, notice I did not use a password in this particular case. So, if I go in here and try to edit this formula, it says, nah, sorry. Well, can I still do it? Well, certainly I can. I can just go here and say, unprotect sheet. And now I can go here and add, commission or whatever I want. Okay, so sometimes you want to turn the password thing on. Other times, sometimes I lock cells to keep me from accidentally blowing something up. Okay, it's not that I'm trying to protect some evil employee from getting extra commission on a sale. That's not the scenario that I typically find myself in. What I find myself in is I'm clumsy and I'll accidentally overwrite something. So I lock things that I think are kind of important that I might accidentally whack. And so I typically don't turn on a password. I run across something, I go, oh, wait a minute, okay, I guess that's legit. Let me just temporarily turn it on, fix my thing, and turn it back on. So depending on the scenario, you can choose whether or not you want to have a password. Okay, so let's go back to, one more thing. Let's talk about the protecting the work structure. And for no particular reason, I'm going to go to review. And remember how we had the The protect worksheet, that's this guy, right? And here's the protect workbook guy. So when you hit this, you could say, I want to protect the workbook for its structure. In other words, I want to be able to say you can't add an extra tab or delete a tab, you know, can't rearrange things. And you could see even to the point of you can't rearrange the windows to be able, because perhaps you have, you know, a hidden spreadsheet on another window or something. And so once again, you could put a password in here to help prevent them from adding an extra worksheet onto your guide. Okay. Now all these are basically trying to tell you what is read-only and read-write. Okay? That's it. You know, it's either, do I allow them to make changes to the structure? Okay. Do I allow them to edit something in a particular cell? But in either case, they can see my stuff. Either the protect worksheet, they can see it all, and protect workbook, they can see it all. So it's all about what they can, not what they can see, but what they can change. Okay. If, for example, you've got a spreadsheet and you don't want other people to mess with it at all. In other words, you don't want anyone to be able to read it except for people who know what's going on. That's called encryption. So I'm going to go back to here to File, Protect Workbook, and one of the options is Encrypt with Password. This is the technique you use to tell people, unless you know the password, you can't even see the contents. Okay. Now, the book has some very good advice in here, and it goes along the lines of, you know, maybe you want to save an encrypted version of your sheet somewhere safe, and, you know, make a copy and encrypt only a copy to put out for other people to use, because if you can't remember this password, you're kind of screwed. There's no password reset, you know, nothing like what Windows does, where you can say, you know, give me my reset disk, or, you know, call the company and get a, you know, no, sorry, if you can't remember it, it's just gone. The next thing to talk about on page 444 is the ability to hide formulas. It could be, for example, that you have, you know, your formula in here is for like calculating profit. And you don't want other people to see, you know, what your profit margin is on something. So there's this long convoluted procedure. It's in the textbook. It's a step-by-step. It's not really much reason for me to go through it. So go through it on your own, starting on page 444. Step-by-step process on how to go in and, you know, view the formulas and lock them down. So the formulas still work. You just can't see what's going on behind the scenes. Okay. So let's review on the level of protections. If I'm trying to prevent people from seeing the file at all, I encrypt it. If I'm trying to keep people from rearranging things, I would probably protect the workbook. If I'm trying to keep people from editing data that they ought not edit, then I'm going to be protecting the worksheet. So those are the three combinations. Can they see it at all? Can they see everything but can't change the structure? Can they see everything but can only edit a few cells? Those are the three levels of protection. Okay, we have made it to the end of this chapter. We'll see you guys again in some future chapter.